everyone, welcome to Home with Home of Stars. I'm Anastasia Palacios, and it is always a joy to be able to talk with you, talk to you about all the things happening with us, especially as a family, and most importantly, for us as moms to be able to get together and share some of the things that we're going through. As always, if you hear noise in the background, I am a mom of two beautiful babies, but those beautiful babies cry, need attention, and oftentimes want snacks. One is sitting on the side of me now, chewing on an apple, and so if that sound does come across, I do apologize, but it is real life to the fullest. But we've been talking about breastfeeding, and today I really wanted to share something that I think could actually help those of you that may be partners to someone who is actually breastfeeding. So much times, you want to be a supportive partner, but you don't know exactly what to do or how to help. And so I hope this video can help to explain some of the things that worked for me and my husband as we tried to get through the breastfeeding process. And this is really critical because breastfeeding can be a sometimes lonely journey. I would have shared with you before how when Cairo was born, she didn't latch right away. And it took us 3 months to get her to latch officially. But it worked out in the end. We ended up breastfeeding her for a year. And I say we because my husband was really involved with making sure that I stayed encouraged and supported throughout my journey. Fortunately, with our son Cruz Axel, he latched right away. But again, I owe some of that to the support of my husband, who was in the room with me when I delivered Cruz and was able to tell the nurse that I wanted the baby to be put on my chest right away so that we could practice that latching. And so support is absolutely critical. So if you or someone you know is about to breastfeed and you want to be a source of support to them, then this video is for you. I'm going to be explaining how you can help with some very, very simple steps. So here are some things that you can do. And right now, you're going to hear some crying in the background because that is the real life experience that I have. Sometimes I've got 2 babies crying at one time. And this time, Cairo is crying because she's been removed from the production set. But she's been removed by someone who was there to support me. And this is why support is so important on a breastfeeding mom's journey and on a mom's journey on the whole, because you need people who can be there when the babies start to cry. So here are 5 things that you can do, of course, if you want to be the person that is supporting someone who is breastfeeding. The first is to be kind. Understand that post-pregnancy hormones are real, that we are already struggling with so many different emotions about our bodies, about our ability to connect with these babies, about the future for these children and for us. And so if we are a little off the beaten path in terms of attitude, just be a little kind to us anyway. The second thing that you can do is to be there physically. And when I say physically, I mean to actually be standing there or sitting there when somebody is breastfeeding. For example, when my son and I were just getting into the rhythm of latching and making sure that he was getting enough milk, I had a bout with mastitis, and so my breasts were really full. My husband would actually physically stand next to me and help me to push that milk out by touching my breast, so almost essentially milking me. But it really did help, and so he was physically present. He also was able to pick up the baby sometimes after I'd fed him and he needed to burp before I put him on the next breast, and so physical presence is a big source of help. The third thing you can do is to try to make sure that our environment is comfortable for us. So normally when I breastfeed in the nursery, or I breastfeed in our bedroom where we have a rocking chair. And to make sure that I'm very comfortable and sitting comfortably, my husband tries to make sure that I have all of my little items in place, even if it's just a glass of water, because breastfeeding moms do get thirsty as they're feeding. So you want to make sure that the space in which your partner or your spouse is breastfeeding is comfortable and they've got everything set up for them so that they don't have to worry about that. The fourth thing you can do that is actually a really big help as well is to make sure that they've got the things they need for things like pumping. So for example, when I almost exclusively pumped Cairo before I got her to latch, I would have to wash my pumps frequently to make sure that they were clean for my next use. But having a partner that was able to come in and do that for me sometimes, some mornings before I got up or after I had pumped, really just helped to take one more thing off my plate. So by simply doing that, you're offering a great source of support as well. The fifth and final thing that you can do is to make sure that your partner has the support they need in terms of research. So you watching this video, for example, is a good way of figuring out some things that you can do to help, but there are so many other things that your partner may be curious about or may not even realize that they are curious about because they're breastfeeding a newborn or dealing with a crying toddler like I am. They don't even have time to think about it or to research it. So read and research. Like I learned that my baby was a barracuda feeder because my husband did some research on the type of feed that he was doing, and that just helped us to be able to understand his feeding pattern better and to even be able to plan my pumping better because now I understood the way that my son would feed. So make sure that you're supporting your spouse or your partner in all these ways and more. But these are 5 steps that I think can really help. So let's just go over those again. So if you do want to be of support to someone who is breastfeeding, remember you can do it in these 5 simple steps. You want to, one, make sure that you're being kind to them and supporting them with positive words and affirmations. Two, you want to make sure that you're there physically in case they need help with burping the baby or moving from one position to the next. Three, try to make sure that breastfeeding surroundings are as comfortable as possible. Do they need an extra glass of water or an extra pillow? Ask them and find out. Four, you want to make sure that you're helping with the equipment needs. So if things like their pumps need to wash, you can do simple as washing those frequently for them. And five, you want to make sure that you are doing reading and research for them. Learn some helpful tips as simple as watching this video and give it to them as they are pumping or breastfeeding, and you've already made a world of a difference. Thank you so much for watching At Home with Home of Stars, and of course for listening through all the background noise that happens in a house with 2 toddlers and help. Grateful for all of your support. Remember to like and subscribe. Of course, share this information with anyone that needs it. Be sure to look for me at Home of Stars on Instagram. And of course, you can check out the actual written blog to this video at anastasia.com.